You know, I think the most precious memories that I have in this world are back from Moreland growing up. It were tough times in a little bitty town, 300 people, you know. We didn't have much going on there. We didn't have a funeral home in Moreland at all. And when somebody died in Moreland, we had to take the body down to Hogansville, Georgia, about 15 miles down the road to McKibben Funeral Home. And they would do whatever you do to a body, and they'd send it on back, you know, and whatever. And this caused problems one time. In 1953, my boyhood friend and idol, Weyman C. Wannamaker Jr., a great American, was 13 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, he wasn't afraid of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't afraid of nothing in this world except one thing. That's dead folks. He believed in ghosts and haints and boogers and all them kind of things. 1953, Weyman's great uncle, Cleve Phillips, the Lord called Uncle Cleve home that year. Wasn't no sad thing. Uncle Cleve about 2 years older than baseball. You know what I'm saying? But the Lord called Uncle Cleve home. And Uncle Cleve was a humpback fella, bent way over, you know, like this. Got that from smoking. And when he died, they sent his body down to McKibben Funeral Home in Hogansville, Georgia, where the three McKibben brothers, all graduates of Georgia Tech, School of Funeral Engineering, had a little problem with Uncle Cleve. You see, every time they lay Uncle Cleve on his back in that casket, his feet would come up like this. And they'd mash his feet down, his back would come up. They messed with Uncle Cleve most of one Saturday afternoon trying to get him flat down that casket. Finally, the eldest of the McKibbens, Rabbit, summa cum laude graduate of Georgia Tech, got out his calculus book and done figured this thing out. He went down to a hardware store and got him a rubber strap, had a hook on each end. Took it back over to the funeral home, hooked this side to the casket, run this strap up under Uncle Cleve's little pin-on tie and his shirt and everything, and hooked Uncle Cleve on the other side and pulled that veil up there so you couldn't see it. He done strapped Uncle Cleve flat down in that casket. Sent that body back to Moreland. We had another thing in them days known as sitting up with the dead. In other words, you got a cool one in the living room, you just don't go on to bed and watch Johnny Carson. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got to sit up with that thing. Now here's the way sitting up worked. The funeral home will provide 4 folding funeral home chairs and 4 of them handheld funeral home fans. You remember them fans? On one side it said McKibben Funeral Home, open 24 hours a day, free delivery and pickup. On the other side, a real pretty picture of heaven. This boy at my church used to eat them fans. His name was Alvin Bates. I asked my mama, I said, what's wrong with Alvin? He's eating the church fans. She said he had a vitamin deficiency. We found out later he was high on poisoned buttermilk. Anyway, they sent Uncle Cleve's body back to Moreland. Weyman's daddy came to him that afternoon and said, Weyman, son, I want you to help me and 2 other fellows sit up with Uncle Cleve tonight. Weyman saw like I was about my heart surgery. He said, do what, Daddy? They said, son, you're 13 years old. You're a grown man. Said, it's time you quit worrying about ghosts and haints and boogers and all that kind of stuff. Said, you come on and sit here tonight. Now, I want you to get the picture here. We got Uncle Cleve over here in the corner strapped down that casket. We got Weyman, his daddy, and 2 other fellows in the folded funeral home chairs with the handheld funeral home fans. They don't know about that strap. Along about 9:30, it come up a bad cloud. Could be New Jersey Americans here with us that don't know what come up a bad cloud means. That means it started to rain real strong. Don't know about come up a bad cloud. There ain't never been a rainstorm like this in the history of the western part of the great state of Georgia. We're talking about lightning. We're talking about thunder. We're talking about the windows rattling. We're talking about the big oak tree in front of the house casting strange and eerie shadows. Upon the living room, Uncle Cleve lay strapped down in that casket. About 10 o'clock, that storm got worse. One of the fellows sitting up got out of his chair and looked at Wayman's daddy, the other fellow, and said, well, if you folks going to sit up, I think I'm going to go on to bed. And he leaves. Came 11 o'clock. Storm was even worse. The other fella got up, put on his coat, looked at Weyman and his daddy and said, well, if you 2 folks going to sit up, I guess I might as well go on to bed too. And he leave. Came the stroke of midnight. The storm was in the height of its fury. Weyman's daddy got up, looked at little old Weyman C. Wannamaker Jr., a great American, 13 years old, my boyhood friend and idol. He said, well, Weyman, son, if you're going to sit up, I think I'm going to go on to bed myself. And he leaves. Now, you're still with me alone in that room with Uncle Cleve Phillips, who has been strapped down in that casket by 3 graduates of the Georgia Institute of Technology. Ain't nobody but my little old friend and idol, Weyman C. Wannamaker Jr., great American. About 2 o'clock that morning, ladies and gentlemen, there came a clap of lightning through that house. So strong and so powerful and so swift that when it hit, it knocked out every light, every source of power from Moreland, Georgia to downtown Spartanburg, South Carolina. At the precise moment that bolt of lightning hit and all them lights went out, that strap on Uncle Cleve's casket come loose. Uncle Cleve just saw it come right now, that casket. I'm talking about he sat up in and looked around like he had good sense. My boyhood friend and idol, Weyman C. Wannamaker Jr., a great American, cast down his handheld funeral home fan. Rose out of his folded funeral home chair, rushed over to the casket and said, well, Uncle Cleve, if you're going to sit up, I think I'm going on to bed. Thank you.